It's known as the staff of life. It's considered to be one of the most important foods we eat. But the bread we've become used to is mainly factory made with lots of yeast and additives to make large quantities in a short space of time. So I've come in search of the perfect Scottish loaf. And who better to talk to than Andrew Whitley, one of Scotland's top artisan bakers.
Okay, well here we've got some Scottish wheat grown in East Lothian, and actually Scotland's quite capable of feeding itself with bread from the fields around it. So we've got flour, salt and some water, and we just pour all that in and then mix it with one hand until all the flour is wet and no more. This is not kneading, this is just dispersing the water into the flour. The conventional wisdom is that it takes a lot of kneading to make bread.
Yes.
And I'm going to disprove that now.
I'm fascinated.
So if you just take a piece and pull it, it just breaks, doesn't it? There's nothing, there's no structure, it's just like a paste, as you would expect.
Hasn't started.
The gluten has not started to develop. So we've got our first stage done. We're going to leave this for 15 or 20 minutes and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. Okay, Nick, this has had 20 minutes sitting with nothing happening to it. Take the cover off, just wet your hands in a little bit of water and then pick up some dough and look at the difference now. Look at that.
It's elastic.
Do you see that gluten pane? That's what we call a window pane of gluten. And that has formed from the paste that we had a minute ago. That's formed without any kneading at all.
So for all these years of my muscle power...
Exactly, you've been braying away on the dough for no purpose at all.
That's extraordinary.
So this is a beautifully soft, stretchy dough, and actually that's really as much as we need to do. We've just brought it together, and now we need to add our raising agent, which is the leaven, the sourdough that's been rising for the best part of 12 hours.
I'm having a moment, because this just all makes sense.
Right, there's your leaven. Just work that in,
yeah.
And I'll do the same here. So you see, that's really all I need to do. I'm going to dip it in the rice flour here, just so that it gets a coating on the edge, and I just sugar it around like that, and then pick it up and put it into the proving basket, which, as you can see, is made out of bent cane. And the really important thing is that it supports a dough that by itself would be so soft and wet that it would flow out into a pancake.
Yeah.
Right, Nick, this has been rising for about 4 hours, and you can see it's more than doubled in size, and if you press very gently on it, you can feel there's a little bit of oomph left, but not much, so we know it's ready to go into the oven.
It's come up as high as it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly. And then we tip it out very gently. You can see what a brilliant lubricator the rice flour is. Just shape it like that, and then straight into the oven, and slide it in onto the oven bottom like that. And it's in slow and out fast.
So how long are we going to bake that for?
Probably about 30 minutes in this oven, maybe even less, because it's very hot. It's 280 degrees. But in a brick oven with retained heat, because there's no flame or element throwing heat at it, it'll bake quicker because the heat's more penetrating. A good knife is really important when you make your own bread.
You know, this is extraordinary bread, an amazing crumb, the crust, the flavour, the acidity, the complexity of it. And the most amazing thing is that we're not in France and we're not in Italy, we're in Scotland, and this is Scottish bread made with Scottish flour. Extraordinary.
Since 2005,